This is Nigel. He's been playing FC24 a couple of weeks now and he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable with the game. But then the dreaded thing happens. You start beating teams 4, 5, 6-0 and you think you're ready to move up to the next difficulty. But then you start getting smashed, you just can't understand it. You're even talking to your other half, it's starting to affect your relationship. But then one day your pal comes here and tells you about this video right here, where we're going to explain how to bridge the gap between difficulties using sliders. And I tell you what, I'm not a relationship therapist, I'm not Dr. Bloody Phil, but I might even fix your marriage, just like I did for Nigel. You're welcome, Nige. Okay then, let's get on to have a look at the slider setup then. Again, the sliders that I use, they might not be good sliders for you. You change them as you see fit. But this is what works for me. And I think I've played a good amount of games now that I can get a bit of an understanding of what changes what and what changes I need to make it good for me to play. But like I said, Mat 10, their sliders, cracking. If they don't work for you, they don't slightly work for me, but these are what I'm going to be using. So, sprint speed. Now, it's one of those things that sprint speed can make a massive difference to your game, or it can make a really small difference to your game. Now, for me personally, I play on just default match speed. Let's have a quick look at that actually. What match speed do I play on? Default match speed, game speed. So because I play on default game speed, the game is not necessarily fast, but it just feels default this season, this year, is quite fast anyway. Just naturally, it's a very fast game. And I don't like my games to be chaotic. Obviously, in real life, some games are massively chaotic, and that's normally your higher levels. The bad touches, the slower play, controlling, passing the ball and things like that. In the lower divisions, obviously, is more important because maybe the pitches aren't as good or the players aren't as good. So I think the sprint speed, it slows the game down. It makes it a little bit more of a thoughtful game rather than give it to your fastest player. He just goes and does one. Now, it's similar for the acceleration. Now, the only difference with the CPU sliders on this one is the acceleration is 51. It's slightly higher than the one that we've got. Or the only reason that is because the players seem to kind of like stop, especially the defenders. They stop themselves and then they take a really big long touch. And a lot of the time, if our acceleration is the same as theirs, then we'd nick the ball off them 9 times out of 10. Leaving this as it is, their acceleration is a little bit quicker, and also in the attacks as well. I think that the acceleration for them in attack just makes it a little bit more difficult for me personally. I've got to think about my defending a little bit more, and we'll come on to the defending a little bit later. Shot error 60, and I've got shot error for the CPU as 65. Now this is in line with Mat 10 sliders as well. I think I always try and up my kind of difficulty in terms of shots. As I rise through the divisions with Halzo in town, I might even stick that down to 60. But my goalkeeper at the moment is absolutely trash, so I need to change that. Yeah, pass error then. Pass error for me is 55. Again, it's just that slower, kind of more deliberate passing rather than playing backheel passes and passes to like behind you and things like that. You have to turn first in order to make the pass and make it strong. Pass error for the CPU now is going to be 60. Now, the reason that we've got it a little bit higher is because I'm trying to prevent against this really quick, sharp passes. And again, you'll see in a second that pass speed is 35. Upping the pass error and lowering the pass speed just allows for a more realistic gameplay again. With us, and again I'll show a little bit of footage here, that you'll see that when Villa are playing the ball, it's slow, deliberate passes. Whereas when Brighton are playing, and I've upped it, I've kind of reduced their pass error and upped their pass speed, you can see they're zipping passes around like prime Barcelona, and it just pisses me off. Again, as I get further through the year, this might change, and even when I get better at the game, I might change this. But at the moment, pass error 60 and 35 pass speed works for me. Shot speed is at 48 for both. That is just a direct copy of what Mat 10 sliders are. I've just gone with those. They always seem to get that kind of that balance between shots being okay, actually doable, but also realistic as well. Injury frequency is 65 and the severity is 35. I always like there to be some injuries in the games, and I think at 50 and even lower than 50 you start to get games where there's no injuries happening whatsoever. It forces your hand, especially in career mode, it forces your hand that you have to make a few changes, and sometimes I am a bit like, this is my first team, I'm going to change my first team. So when you do get these injuries that come in every now and again, even if for they're like 5 games, I don't know, a month, etc, etc, then it's nice to kind of chop and change with your team and see if there's any players on the bench that you should be playing potentially. But severity is down low. So we want 9 times out of 10 there to be a knock on the ankle that you have to bring them off of the game, but they'll be ready for the next game. A 5-day injury, a dead leg, a twisted ankle. Every now and again you'll get the bigger ones, the ACLs, that just keep them out for 6, 12 months and things like that, and they're out for the season. I don't think I've had an out for the season yet though, which would be interesting to see. Goalkeeper ability for me is going to be 65. Goalkeeper ability for the computer is going to be 60. My goalkeepers, every single goalkeeper that I've played with, bar Emi Martinez, has been absolutely trash. Terrible. I don't know if it's just because Emi Martinez is high rated and that he's big in stature, but the rest of the players that I've played with, they've let in some absolute howlers. And don't even get me started on Platty in that bloody playoff final. Absolutely shocking. But I think that's a good balance. Obviously between my shot error being 60, their shot error being 65, and then my goalkeeper being 65 and their goalkeeper being 60, just gives that kind of little bit of challenge, but still playable rather than just being absolutely trash. Marking then is 55 for each side. You can see there that you've got that consistency in marking. It just allows the defenders to mark you a little bit tighter. So potentially, and this works both ways, is there ability for you to have a good touch, especially with the right trigger. If you flick the ball round them and they're marking you very tightly, you're going to nick the ball over the red, or you're going to knock it round them. Same as if you're firing a ball into, I don't know, Okafor, and I want him to hold it up. You've got a defender that's literally right up their backside. You'll just be kind of pushing them off, holding them off and things like that. And again, it's just natural, it's football, it's what you see day in, day out. Run frequency is down at 20. This is another one where I've gone with Mat 10 sliders. 20 run frequency, and I think it's the same for the CPU as well. Yeah, so run frequency down there, quite low. Just means that they will pretty much stay to where they are, stick where they are on the pitch and stay in their positions unless you tell them to. So obviously using the L1X passes and things like that, then obviously they'll make a run on, and that's you telling them to do that. Line height then, pretty obvious one. So you've got 52, so they're slightly higher than normal. Gives a nice little bit of room in behind, and that is for the CPU and for us as well. 52 line height as well. Line length then, obviously how compact the team is. Now I personally like my teams to be nice and compact, especially in the defensive third, just because it doesn't give the CPU enough kind of space to pass and do the little tiki-taka passes and play through your defensive lines. If you've got it nice and compact, and this just compacts it even more. So switch balls, I use a lot of diagonal balls and switching the play and things like that, and it just gives your wingers that kind of realistic, natural little bit of time to bring the ball down, maybe to think about doing a little bit of skill, or maybe just to whip across in. I think it's always a good one to use. Line width, You've obviously got, that's going to be 35. So again, how compact they are from goal to goal rather than from touchline to touchline. So from goal to goal, how compact are they going to be, or how wide are they going to be? And this works in conjunction with the line height as well. So how high are they going to be, but how compact is it going to be in that midfield? And again, it's quite true to life that you'll see a lot of teams, unless they are bloody coached by Jose Mourinho, then you'll have teams that are quite compact, and all of the spaces, right, stop the long passes from being played, rather than give everyone loads of time in the midfield and they can pick passes left, right and centre, and you kind of marking people, or you're resting on your defensive, like 18-yard box and things like that. Line width, compact to the width of the pitch. I've already talked about that. So fullback position, then keep it as 50. It's the same for the CPU as well. Yeah, and then first touch control, simple. And then also first touch control error as well, and that's going to be up at 70. Now, I disagreed with this to start with, and I thought there's no way I'm having our control to be 70. That's shocking, especially when you're running with the ball at pace and you see the ball starting to fly about all over the place, and long balls when you get them to kind of bring it down. But it does make her play a little bit slower and a little bit more thoughtful. And that's definitely the kind of game that I want it to be. I want it to be a little bit more true to life, and having that first touch control error be up to 70, it means that you can't be taking the ball on the run every single time. Obviously, if you play a through ball and you clean for on goal, you can knock the ball up in front of you a little bit, but if you're getting a switch pass to your fullback or to your winger, and you know that the defender's going to be literally on your toes as soon as you bring it down, it just means that you have to bring it down while you're not moving at all, or definitely without the sprint button being held, and just bring the ball down, and it's slow and it's methodical. That's how I like to play it. If you don't like to play it that way, that's absolutely fine. Change it as you see fit. But what I will say is, have at least 5 to 10 games with these sliders if you want to try them out. By the time you've got that 5 or 10 games under your belt, you'll start to be like, oh, actually, yeah, I understand why you do that now. And again, hopefully some of the footage that I've put in will actually show exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this is the way I set up with my gameplay as well. So I use the competitive preset for gameplay, and you will see that I consider myself a bit of a veteran of these games. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm the best by far. Yeah, there's people out there who will absolutely wipe the floor with me. Some of my pals will wipe the floor with me, but I play enough, and I think I've got that kind of muscle memory where I can now understand what I'm doing without even actually thinking about it. So I've gone with the competitive preset. Shot assistance, I've gone with precision. Now, the reason that I've gone with precision, I've used all of these now. I've used assisted, I've used manual, and I've used precision. For me personally, precision is the best one. And the difference between assisted and precision is absolutely night and day for me. Manual, I think, is just way too hard. It's just ridiculous. You've got to be on the money every single time. But precision, it's always going to be at the goal for you. But you'll see in some of the clips that I'm going to show you in a second that they can go absolutely wild off target, almost hitting the corner flag sort of thing. With assisted, I always think the shots just seem a bit tame. But when you get one right with precision, it flies in. And you can, if you played football, you'll know that you'll be running through sometimes and you will think, I've got time and space here, I'm going to strike this ball as hard as I can. And you top it, you slice it, it goes completely the opposite way than you're expecting. And then there's sometimes when you're almost falling onto a ball, you're running at pace, and you go and smack one, and it just wraps around your foot. It's absolutely perfect, and it flies in. Now, this replicates this for me. Precision, if you get it right, oh my God, you get it right. But if you get it wrong, oh my God, you're looking at corner flag jobber. You're looking at taking stewards' heads off. I swear to God, for me, it's exactly what I want to be using. Time finishing, get it out of my sight. I've never used it. I've never bothered. It just seems too arcadey for me. Who does this? There's not a player on the bloody earth that would kind of time their strike so that they're going to get it perfect. It's not about that. It's about where you're running, how quickly you're running. Are you running onto the ball or are you running to the side of the ball? It's nothing to do with timing. So I don't. The only time that you'll ever use timing is if it's a first time shot. I think that would be a good way to kind of simulate that from real life. That if the ball's coming out to you and you're running onto it, you've got to time it perfectly. But in real life, when you're running onto balls or you're controlling a ball and you're going to stick it with the outside of your foot, it's nothing about timed finishing. I don't agree with it. So yeah, get it out of your face. Passing, auto flare obviously is already off, and all of these are going to be semi-assisted. Now, through pass assistance, you can either have manual or you can have semi. Go with semi. Manual is way too hard. Semi-assisting, at least it kind of puts it on a plate for you sometimes. Again, same with lob through passes as well. It's just one of those things that you need to make sure that you've got a little bit of assistance on there. For me, there's a couple of games that I played and there's a couple of passes that I'm going to show you now that are used on manual. But more often than not, it's probably not the best thing to do. So just go with your lob through passes. Is going to be semi-assisted because manual is just absolutely mental. Ground pass, actually you've got to go semi. You can't go assisted. They'll just be picking players left, right and centre. But manual's just going to be way too hard, especially in those tight little areas, because we've got our midfield that's going to be nice and compact. You're not going to have a lot of time to think about it. So making sure that semi-assisted is on there as well. Now, crossing assistance, I have messed with all of these, and there's a variety of clips that I'm going to show you in a second. It's got to be manual. Now, I don't know what it is with the crossing this season. Hopefully they patch it so that we can go back to semi-assisted. But right now, crossing is broken. Every single cross that you do goes to the keeper or it goes to the centre circle. There's no in between. You can't actually get it into the box for a cross. Now again, I'm going to show you a few different clips here. Some of them are my manual crosses, and I will show you which are the manual crosses that I've just got wrong. But like I said, after 5-10 games with these manual crosses, you'll see the difference. They go where you want them to go, and I'm finding that now, recording some of the Hell Zone things, some of the Hell Zone episodes, that my players aren't very good, so they need that assistance. But oh my god, at the moment the assistance is terrible. So I'm on manual, and that's the way it's staying for the foreseeable future. Lob pass assistance, again, playing the ball with the box button, it's exactly the same as through pass. I've got the passing for me this year at the moment is a bit broken. Hopefully it gets patched, and then we'll be able to revisit these. But at the moment, the lob through pass is absolutely bread and butter. And again, it's this Matty Cash. This was, the ball's coming to me, I've got no time, I'm just going to dink the ball to the far side and hope that John McGinn was over there. I didn't even know where he was, I just put it in that general area. If that would have been an assisted pass or a semi-assisted pass, it would have gone to the opposite side of the pitch, or it would have gone to their goalkeeper because it was looking for Watkins or someone like that. Because I was able to angle it diagonally, it found John McGinn. Absolutely perfect. So it's got to be manual for me. Pass receiver lock, I've always kept this as late. I'm keeping it as late now. Precision pass sensitivity, just going with normal as well. I don't tend to really use this, I've got to be honest. So we're leaving it as that. Now, clearances, we're just going to go with directional. I don't like classic, it doesn't give you that kind of, you can't judge where the ball's going. Directional, and if I'm defending a corner kick, I'll always head the ball away with square. It just gets a little bit more distance on it. Yeah, jockey, going to be manual. Now this is another one. We've been leaving it on advanced defending. I hate this. This is the worst thing that they've either added this year or they've turned up the sensitivity this year. I don't know what they've done, but I hate it. Now, I'm going to show you a few clips as well here. The difference between advanced defending and tactical defending. The advanced defending, I don't know what it is. And again, please, someone in the comments tell me I'm wrong. But this year, they've added this thing where you like lunge for the tackle or they dive in. And there's been so many times where I've been on the wing and their player is almost walking towards the corner flag, and I've been pressing circle expecting them to put their hand out to pull their shirt a little bit or to just get closer to them, and they've lunged, the player's just absolutely spin moved him and he's gone and scored. There's a couple of times it's happened for Halzoe, and I'll show you a couple of times here, and I think Pau Torres is the worst for it. Now if you change to tactical defending, this is when it brings back that more shoulder to shoulder stuff, the tugging of the shirt. That's how I played last year. That's how I like to play. I used to be a right back. Jesus Christ, if I didn't have a chunk of the attacker's shirt in my hand, there was something wrong. There was something that I was doing that wasn't right. If I was lunging into tackles like Pau Torres is here, then I was absolutely off my rocker. So change it to tactical defending. You can just feather that circle button, and actually they do end up putting that pressure on them, and it gives you the chance to then use a standing tackle or even a slide tackle if you need to. Pass block assistance, leave it on. Auto switching on air balls and loose balls only. Yeah, shouldn't be having it at manual. It's just too much to think about. And on air balls, that could work, but I like it to be on that personally. Auto switching, never have used it, never will use it. Classic stick switching. This is, I only ever use this really when I'm doing set pieces, so corner kicks and throw-ins. That's the only time I ever use. Now, I was told to do this by TikTok. Do not come at me in the comment section. I don't know what it is. I was told that it's best to have them both off, contextual dribbling and orbit dribbling. Contextual dribbling is off as default because of the competitive preset that I've got on, but orbit dribbling as well is off. Ask me why. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. Analog sprints. Yeah, I like to use that as well because I naturally constantly hold it down as hard as I can. Sometimes I like it to be a little bit more of a slow jog and then to speed up a little bit. But again, personal preference. Anything in here? Competitor mode off. Yeah, always had that off. Yeah, you have to have all these on really. And I've also put on handballs. It pisses me off when I see a handball that's not given against me. I don't mind when it's me giving away the handball. I really don't mind it. But when it's not given for me, oh my God, it pisses me off so much. But I've been watching Goldbridge's streams. Jesus Christ, that geezer gives away so many penalties. It's absolutely madness. So yeah, keep them off. Keep them off the penalties, but keep them on everywhere else. And I believe that is it. There we go then. That is the slider setup and the game settings that I will be using for the next couple of weeks anyway. Now, if you want to see me use these sliders, make sure that you click on one of the various videos that are on screen right now. Make sure that you've liked this video. Make sure that you subscribed. And I'll see you very soon. Peace!